What happens when familiar faces spark forgotten stories? Wow, that's what we are diving into right now, and you're just so real for tuning in. So let's go subscribe to the channel, like, comment, follow, and do everything necessary. Just invite someone because it's going down. We are spilling right here. Let's go. Yes, let's dive into our story for today. I'll give it a title: When Familiar Faces Spark Forgotten Stories. Let's dive into it and see what it has for us. It was a weekend, and I, a 26-year-old man, had traveled back to my small hometown. The plan was simple: catch a bus to visit a friend, and I had no idea that a routine wait on a bench would lead to an encounter with a ghost from my past. As I sat on the bench, I noticed a man in his late 40s seated beside me. At first, I didn't think much of it, just another stranger waiting for the bus. But something shifted. I could feel his gaze lingering on me, and out of curiosity, I glanced back. He quickly looked away, but not before my mind caught a spark of recognition. He looked familiar, too familiar, the kind of familiar that nudges at memories buried deep. We both boarded the bus, sitting far apart, yet his presence loomed in my mind. I could shake the feeling. Then, like pieces of a puzzle coming together, the realization hit. This was the man from my faintest childhood memories. This was my father. The story of my father isn't a romantic one. It is a tale of broken promises and missed opportunities. He was a man who once vowed a future with my mother, but walked away, leaving her to raise me alone. I grew, I grew up hearing the stories, how she fought for my rights, not their relationship, how she tried to crush his wedding, only for him to outsmart her with a decor venue. It all felt like a chapter from someone else's book, a story I was told, not one I lived. You see, I never felt the absence of a father. It wasn't a void because I never knew what that space was meant to hold. If you ask me if I hate him, I don't. How can you hate someone you don't know? He was always just there, a name, a shadow, a detail in the background of my life. This is so rude. But on that bus ride, something shifted. For the first time, I found myself wondering about him, not with longing, but with curiosity. What does it feel like for him to sit so close to a part of himself and say nothing? Did he even recognize me? Did he care? And what would I have said if he did approach me? I thought about how much easier it would have been if we could meet as strangers, without the weight of our shared history. Just two men on a bus, exchanging pleasantries, unburdened by the complexity of our relationship that never really was. By the time the bus ride ended, the moment had passed. I got off, and so did he. We went our separate ways, as we always have. I don't know what that moment meant for him, if it meant anything at all, but for me, it was a reminder of how life's unexpected intersections can force us to reflect on what we thought we had left behind. Of what we thought we had left behind. And this is just a simple story for us. One individual meets their father. Probably they had spent a lifetime, because they say they are 26, but they just have a faint memories of this man. And at the glance on them, they notice that this someone is just somewhere in my memory. I feel like I can recognize them. I feel like I know them. You know that moment. So at the age of 26, this individual just finds faint memories of a so-called father in their mind. And sitting on that bus, the so-called father cannot even mention anything about him apart from staring from a distance. And out of curiosity, this individual is wondering, why is this individual staring at me? So at that glance, the individual just finds out that this is my father, probably. And this just raises a lot of memories to this person, wondering, how does this man even, how is he able to sit somewhere knowing that I'm their son? I'm sitting somewhere also, but they cannot even come close to me. They cannot even come and say, hey, hello, or anything, to build a relationship, regardless if it didn't happen when I was a child. But now that you have seen me, and the fact that you can glance all that long at me, it means you recognize me. But the guts to sit on that bus and you just do nothing, and you sit in that bus, get to your very stop, and you come off of it, and you've not said anything to your child, like your child, your seed, and you don't say anything, and you're just okay. So this individual shares this story, and they're just wondering at how men can be really so mean. Not all fathers are like this, but I want us to take it in the direction that it has come in, showing us how men can mean to be so rude. We've spent 26 years. You left my mom pregnant. Probably it was just months in, and you ran away. You married another woman, and you lied my mom about the locations. You suggested a venue, and you used another venue, of course, out of courtesy that she might come and disorganized stuff, which was right, because she was planning also the same thing. But man, I'm your seed, I'm your child. Like, how would you sit on that bus and you just say nothing to me? So this got me like wondering, what can men be thinking, like, for real? we are still having such issues, like, whereby a man cannot even approach their own child. What kind of irresponsibility, what kind of recklessness could that be? I know some men out there are being the real fathers they can be, like my father. He's being the dad he is supposed to be. But I mean, some men out there are just too much. Like, how can you do this to your own child? So I was able to delve and get some lessons from this, and let's come back with those lessons as you also write down your lessons in the comment section. Yeah, let's go for the lessons that we got from this. So with this story, I was able to delve in and get some lessons, and I just want us to just note them out, learn this, have peace. Lesson 1: you define yourself. You define yourself. Your existence is not determined by who was present in your life and who wasn't. Because I mean, even without a father, you don't feel that void, because you don't know how it feels like to be without a father. So you find yourself very okay and very well. So you're not defined by the fact whether you have a father or you don't. So it's all about you. And this drew me back to people who complain about family backgrounds. You know, my father was not in my life. I mean, you can make it with or without them. So it's all about you. Define yourself, live your life. Don't do the same mistake. Don't do the same mistakes they did. You just be you. You define yourself. You're not defined by anything outside yourself. Even the Bible says that what defines a man comes from inside out. It comes from inside out. It comes from inside out. So you define yourself. Nothing from the outside can define you. So hold no grudges on your father. It's okay. If for 26 years you've been able to live up to now, I mean, it's okay. It's okay. It's very okay. And another lesson I got is that forgiveness is freedom. The fact that you could look at this man and you found your peace, you held your peace, just having a few questions like, how does he feel having a part of himself somewhere and he's not bothered? How does it feel like to sit close to someone you know you should have a conversation with and you're having nothing? But you also finding that peace of sitting with him, looking at him, letting him go like it has always been, taking his way and you also taking your way. I mean, that's freedom. So that's the peace that comes with forgiving. Meaning if you forgive someone, there is a peace that you hold on yourself, and it's just too priceless. So forgiveness is freedom. Whatever you're holding on to something, be it your parents, be it or anyone, you forgive. Forgiveness is for your own good. It's you who gains. It's you who profits from you forgiving someone. So forgive. It is freedom. That's why you could sit on that bus. That's why you could get off. That's why you're okay. You're okay. They took the other path. You took this path, and you're okay. And that's just wonderful. So forgiveness is freedom. It's not an obligation that you should do something and you hold burdens on yourself. No, it's okay. And my last lesson is, not every story needs closure to be complete. I mean, the story between this individual and the father did not even begin, but maybe you're holding onto something. You're thinking that when you comfort someone, maybe it will come out. No, hold your peace. Not every story needs closure. Some stories just end there. We just end in suspense and we don't know what to do next. So you hold your peace. You don't need to comfort this guy. If that's how he has chosen life to be, it's okay. If he didn't approach, like he ran away when I was young, and even this moment he's not approaching, I mean, it's okay. The story between me and my father does not need any closure. So not every story needs closure. It just ends in suspense there, and it just ends anyhowly. Know that, no peace. And I'll conclude by saying, what if the most important people in our lives aren't the ones we've met, but the ones we've never had to? What if the most important people in our lives are not the people we've met, but those people we were not even supposed to meet? What if they are the very important people? Selah. Thank you for watching. Peace.